from Caesars Atlantic City, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! In the red corner, wearing white, blue, and red and weighing 146 pounds, he brings a perfect professional record of 20 consecutive victories without a loss, 13 by knockout. He is a native of Cuba, but now resides and fights out of Miami, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the undefeated challenger, ranked number 10 in the world, Diobelys El Oriental Hurtado. And across the ring in the blue corner, wearing black and weighing 147 pounds. In 1984, he captured Olympic gold. And now, as a professional, his record is 39 victories, 16 by knockout, with 1 disputed loss and 1 controversial draw. He has 6 world title belts in 4 different divisions and is still recognized as the pound-for-pound king of boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, from Norfolk, Virginia, presenting the WBC welterweight world champion and 4-time champion of the world, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Roger. Let's go, champ.
Good evening, gentlemen. We received your rules earlier today. I expect you to obey these rules. Let's have a nice, clean fight. Good luck to the both of you.
Jim, Hurtado is known as the ring dancer. I hope it's less Alvin Ailey than Muhammad Ali.
Judge ready here. Judge ready. Judge ready. Timer.
Sweet mysteries of boxing. Whitaker a totally known quantity. Hurtado at this level totally unknown. And Hurtado plants Whitaker on his butt. Legitimate knockdown with a right hand punch. Pernell smiling as if to say, imagine this, it's a joke. But George, I don't think that was a slip. That was a knockdown.
It wasn't a slip, but he was standing square to Hurtado and he was off balance. But it is a knockdown, and he has to overcome what could be a 2-point lead already.
Last Saturday night, a total unknown from Colombia named Mauricio Pastrana put away Michael Carbajal before that big crowd in Las Vegas. And the crowd sat in stunned disbelief through much of the bout as Pastrana befuddled Carbajal. Could the same thing happen to Whitaker tonight? Whitaker lands a left hand over the top.
Whitaker. One thing Whitaker doesn't want to do right now is go and pay him back. You got 12 rounds to get even. You don't want to do it the first round. This one, these young guys, the reflexes are best.
Well, for as great as Pernell has been, he's been on his trunks before. He was down against Raphael Williams early in his career. He's knocked down by Roger Mayweather. He was knocked down by Buddy McGirt, so it isn't the first time.
Hurtado is doing all of this by almost instincts and reflexes. He's not aiming to do it. It's just happening on its own. Whitaker generally has those antennas working, and there come a point where you just got to keep your hands up and not depend on your quickness anymore.
Hurtado likes to move and flurry. Doesn't stand still a lot. Circles to both sides. Tries to land punches in bunches when he gets close and takes a shot.
Where do you hit with right hand?
Round one, the convention center. Pernell Whitaker trying to step right through Diobelys Hurtado on his way to Oscar De La Hoya. Referee Arthur McCanny warning Hurtado not to hold and hit and to avoid head contact.
Let's keep this clean now.
Hold those hands up!
That's what happens sometimes when you have a lot of experience. You have a tendency to get in close, let the guy throw his punches, thinking you're going to hit him. But those judges, they count those little shots. You can easily lose a lot of rounds over underestimating young kids.
This is the style, I believe, that Cubans were taught to be able to fight in the Olympics. Throw your punches and get out of there.
And Arthur McCanty working the vocal cords pretty hard here in round number 1. Whitaker goes out of his way to bump into Hurtado as the two finish the round. Round 1, a knockdown by Hurtado of Pernell Whitaker in the opening seconds of the bout.
Now listen to me. You have to fall down from it. Okay? You try to back up and pull back. You can't pull back with the right hand. Bend over, get that hand up high and bend go down, all right? But look, you got to jab this guy, all right? You got to use the jab. You got to feint at the guy. When he throw that right hand, then you got to...
You'll take a look at the quick knockdown. This is like a wake-up call at about 12:01 a.m. That's how fast that happened. Solid right hand. Pernell was not hurt at all, but as you can see, his stance was square to Hurtado. So there is some hurt in Hurtado's fists.
Bucket out of there.
Round 2 in Atlantic City. Whitaker almost certainly in what is a rare position for him, behind on the scorecards. Doesn't spend a lot of time trailing in fights. And a 2-point round for Hurtado on Harold Letterman's scorecard. So Pernell, who throughout his career has won habitually 75 to 80% of the rounds in which he's fought, loses the first round here and now gets a measure of revenge with a hard left hand that drives Hurtado back.
The thing about following one of these young guys, especially the Cuban fighters, they have known to have good right hands. You can't follow them just by walking to them. You got to have a left jab, a right jab, something touching them all the time.
Well, it's clear that Hurtado is going to try to stay away from Pernell, so the job here, George, is to cut off the ring. How can he do it?
Yeah, well, Whitaker has got to cut off the ring with his fists. He can't just do it with his feet, which he is doing. Stepping in front of him and then waiting for the kid to hit him. He's put his right jab in front of him.
So you believe that Pernell should be a little busier with his fists than he has been.
He's got to get better, busier. He's got to put together some combinations. They don't have to be exactly on the button, which he's trying to do.
Whitaker's knee touches the canvas again. This one, McCanty rules a slip, as indeed it was.
Hurtado has a great advantage. He's sparred and worked with so many southpaws in Cuba that it's no difficult task for him to face a southpaw in Whitaker.
And you saw Hurtado taking that little angry shot at Whitaker. Clearly, this is going to be a working night for Arthur McCanty. Hurtado with a low blow.
Keep it clean.
They hold and hit again.
Watch your head.
And McCanty says, keep your forehead off of it. Successful rabbit punch for Hurtado, as Whitaker had all but turned his back on it.
That's why when you're fighting these guys, you almost have to bring amateurs in camp with you to train, because if you prepare yourself against seasoned pros, you just will not get their time. He's got like a glorified amateur, and he's doing good.
Yeah, his style is so awkward that Pernell seems thrown out of sync by it, George.
That's right. It's like a jazz musician at a rock concert.
Well, so far, Hurtado's had the jazz, and Pernell Whitaker hasn't been able to rock.
The good thing about Whitaker, he's making this kid work every minute of each round.
If you hear a lot of fans cheering for Hurtado, there's several hundred of them up from Union City, where there's a large Cuban population. Union City in northern.
Keep moving your legs. And as we go to Hurtado's corner, where the primary language is Spanish,
Use your left hand, keep using your left hand, and then come in with your right.
from right here in New Jersey is Hector
Come out with that
Garcia.
right hand real quick. Don't hold it back. Throw that right hand. And surprise him with that right hand. And go down. Keep moving yourself. Don't tangle up with this guy. If he touches it, don't worry about it. You have to keep doing your own job, your own work.
Hector is playing to his strength tonight as Oscar De La Hoya watches from ringside. De La Hoya, Mexican-American. Our interpreter, Hector Garcia, Cuban-American, and therefore the dialect in the corner is his dialect, and we're going to get more out of Hector than ever before. Third round begins. First two rounds haven't been particularly kind to Pernell Whitaker as he tries to establish a rhythm in fighting young Diobelys Hurtado, a former Cuban national team member who defected to the USA in 1994.
Whitaker started to use his hand and just stop trying to cut him off with his feet as much. Now he's using his hand a bit more, which is what you got to do.
Whitaker, by punch count numbers, threw only 20 punches, or landed only 20 out of 61 punches in round two. Hurtado threw 80 punches, so Hurtado has been the busier fighter and has done the most damage so far. Hurtado landed a little counter in there against the ropes. Whitaker steps across the ring and can't find it as Hurtado turns away.
Keep him up, Sweet Pea.
You see that Sweet Pea has now made the transition all the way from a very sophisticated boxer who moved the way Hurtado is moving now, but in a smoother style, to now that he's become the total aggressor here.
Only because of that quick knockdown. He realizes he's got to catch up now and get some momentum going, get those points back.
Hurtado with a little dance.
That's a lot of nerve to go in there with Pernell Whitaker doing the dances.
And Whitaker moving more and more toward a brawling style as he tries to open Hurtado up and make him fight.
He may not want to do that.
Third time that Whitaker's knee has been down on the canvas. One knockdown, two slips. You often see awkward confrontations between southpaws and conventional fighters. Hurtado, on top of being conventional, is a side-to-side mover who throws punches only in flurries, has a totally awkward style, and has brought Whitaker out of his game plan early.
Not only that, you'll notice whenever these fighters get to a certain kind of fights and they start to lose, first thing go, their legs. Sometimes you just tap them a bit and they fall and they don't even understand.
Well, you heard what Willie Pep said last week. What happens to old fighters, George, is that first their legs go, then their chin goes, and then their friends go.
Whitaker sometimes is stumbling down on his own.
Pep left out the best part. How many marriages did he have?
6. Now, this is just so ugly I can hardly stand it. Makes me wonder even more why Hurtado is here, because you can never look good against a fighter of this kind. I don't care how great you are, you cannot look good against this style of fighter.
Fight with the guy, the hands got to be high, okay? And look, snap that jab. You can't just lay that jab out there. Feint at him, look. As soon as you get close, you just got to throw punches with him, all right? Keep your hands going, fast punches. Forget the power, fast punches, all right? If this guy ain't got nothing, he try to hit and run. He can't win no fight like that.
You got to come back with a body punches, hit those ribs in the sand with that right hook of yours, right? Punch fast. That's what you got to do with this guy. Okay, baby?
No meta, cuidado, ¿eh? Levanta los ganchos.
Low blows. You're winning the fight. Watch those low blows.
I think the question everybody is asking themselves, including the officials perhaps, by that I mean the judges, is can you take the title from a great fighter with this kind of run, hit, run style?
All you got to do is stop every now and then and knock him down. surely you can.
Well, if you knocked him down 4 or 5 times, I guess you would, but he doesn't even seem intent on repeating that knockdown.
Oh, it didn't happen out of strategy. It just happened by way of reflexes. He catches him on the tail end of an accidental shot.
Well, and he's going to have a better chance of repeating that knockdown if Whitaker has to keep chasing him and chasing him and chasing him like this.
Because
when he connects, he's going to be connecting on a guy who's coming in.
That's right. You can't follow these guys. They have a punching reputation. Whitaker's got to keep his hands up whenever he throws a shot. His defense has got to be in position.
Hurtado was coached by the legendary Alcide Segarra, the longtime coach of the Cuban team, the man who's developed such great right-hand punchers in the heavyweight ranks as Felice Savon and Teofilo Stevenson.
Yeah, Whitaker's corner told him to stop throwing power punches because this fight is going to go into maybe the 10th round, and you throw all your power, you are not going to have any.
Whitaker lands a hard left hand as he chases Hurtado along the ropes. But by and large, it's been another one of those ugly rounds, and Pernell hasn't gotten any rhythm going on his jab at all. And Hurtado stops him in his tracks with a couple of counter shots.
Those shots hurt.
And Hurtado lands 2 to the body.
Step back.
If he goes to Pernell's body when Pernell comes in and can wear him down a little going through the middle rounds, we will have some high drama coming down the stretch.
Hurtado is getting the best of this fight. There's no doubt about it because he's got Pernell Whitaker following him around.
I imagine that Whitaker thinks he's back in the '84 Olympics, except this time the Cuban showed up.
Sometimes you really think you're backing the other guy up, and really the guy is making you follow him around. Let you land one good shot here and there. Whitaker's got the stuff, it's just that he seems not prepared for the quickness of Hurtado.
Well, he's going to win. Hurtado. You're going to get it. We're only in the 4th round.
All right, let go.
Just don't try for the first name.
See, those shots are hurting Pernell Whitaker. And they're going to hurt him more and more as the fight goes on because he's throwing his energy away, looking for one shot to get this knockdown back.
Now Whitaker starts to go to the body, and Hurtado reacts in such a way that looks like a good idea for Pernell. I think you can bet that between rounds, Lou Duba and Ronnie Shields are going to ask Pernell to go back to the ribcage of Diobelys Hurtado, and Hurtado lands a low blow as that round comes to a close, and Pete limps around as though for the moment in agony.
Giving you a warning now. Okay? One more time, I'm taking a point away. Keep it clean. All right?
The guy fucking picking up his legs now.
We're watching him. Every time he hits the body, he picks his legs up. You got to go to the body with this guy.
Move the hand.
I find it difficult. There you saw the low blow. I find it difficult to give these kind of rounds to Hurtado. I'm sorry. I may be subconsciously rooting for the old guy and the great champion, but how do you give these kinds of rounds to a challenger? Harold?
Larry, 39-36, 3 rounds to 1, Diobelys Hurtado. I thought he outboxed him for 3 rounds. Effective aggressiveness wins rounds, and when Pernell came in during the first 3 rounds, he wasn't effective. In the 4th round, he certainly was. He won the 4th round, 3-1 Hurtado.
Keep it clean now, okay?
I have it 3-1 for Whitaker.
So you have the classic confrontation in the ring between the old champion and the unknown young challenger, with the young challenger seeming in the eyes of Harold Letterman to get the better of it. And you have the classic confrontation at ringside as Larry is diametrically opposed to Harold's scoring of the fight. A sideshow.
Whitaker's got the power. He's behind on quickness this time. First time.
And again, Whitaker almost loses his feet as the right knee dipped almost all the way down to the canvas. He did throw the left hand straight to the body, and you heard Lou Duba between rounds imploring Pernell to go to the body. Whitaker comes over the top with the left. Hurtado managing to tie him up momentarily, and Hurtado throws awkward punches from odd angles, but lands them.
And he goes to the body, which means that this could be a have a decaying effect on Whitaker in the latter round.
Come on, let's stop it now.
I'm telling you, if Hurtado were to concentrate his attack to the body now, he would set himself up for a real shot.
That's true.
You don't get credit for body punches in the amateurs.
Not enough, that's for sure. But he's had 20 professional fights. He's learning, even though all those fights are against relatively unknown opposition. Straight left hand for Whitaker, backs Hurtado into the ropes. Best punch of the fight for Pernell. And he remembers to go back to the body, and Hurtado lands a little right hand counter in close.
The problem with Whitaker, he throws a good 1-2 and doesn't come back with a hook. And that's where the trouble starts. This guy beats him with that third shot.
There's another flurry of punches from Hurtado.
Now Whitaker comes back. Whenever you hit him with 2 shots, you've got to finish back unbalanced by holding up with a hook.
Hurtado with another low blow. Mercanti too late to do anything about that one. Hurtado's blinking his eyes as though the sweat is bothering him, or perhaps he's gotten something in there that stings them. As long as he's blinking his eyes like that, Pernell ought to tattoo him with the jab.
Yeah, he can't see on that side, no doubt about it, but Whitaker just doesn't seem to want to penetrate and concentrate on that eye.
1 point being deducted from Hurtado for hitting behind the head. So that'll make it closer on the scorecards if, as you might suspect, Hurtado still has an early lead. Remember, he knocked Whitaker down in the opening seconds of the fight.
Whitaker will not be able to walk around with his hands down like that, thinking this kid can't hit him.
I don't understand, frankly, that point deduction, because Whitaker is ducking in an awkward way, and Hurtado is just swinging and hitting on the top.
The body shots are doing this guy. He can't go no place with the body shots.
It's a matter of time with this guy. All right? No. Hey, listen to me. Use your experience. You more experience than this guy. When this guy's running, fade at him. When he's stopping, all he's doing is throwing 5-6 punches. Okay? Move your head, please. Bob and weave.
Oye, no te puedes dormir con él.
Stop rapid. Sleep in front of this guy.
Cuando esté tocando cuando venga el lomo.
When he comes forward,
you
stand up in front of him. Don't turn around and get this guy your back. Hey, beat this guy.
Vamos ya.
There you can see Pernell goes down. I don't understand why that's a point deduction. So far, this fight has been like a beef stew without the beef. I don't know what it is.
Round 6 of the scheduled 12. Punch stat numbers through 5 rounds. Hurtado has thrown more punches than Whitaker, 211 to 192. Has landed more punches than Whitaker, 70 to 64. Has landed more power punches than Whitaker. So statistically, at least, Hurtado has the numerical advantages, according to our punch stat computations.
Whitaker has an advantage if he stays to Hurtado's left side. Gets in trouble because the guy can't see up on that side.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be able to.
So you start your punches from that side and you won't get counted as much. Whenever he starts with his straight left, that's when the trouble starts for Whitaker.
But Whitaker is depending more on the straight left than the jab up to this point, although he threw 2 jabs there and then set up what became a low blow. Hurtado goes down. Timeout. And Mercanti gives a break to Hurtado, who could get as many as 5 minutes to recover here.
Now it's beef stew without the beef and the stew.
And I think Pernell is thoroughly frustrated by what's going on in there. He's going to have to keep his cool if he's going to be able to think his way back into dominance in this fight. And this will take some thinking, George.
That's true. And it's hard to think when a guy's hitting you 4-1. You've got to be the aggressor, too.
Stop holding. Break. Stop holding now.
Whitaker can fix all of that just by throwing combinations of three or more punches. But when he throws a 1-2, he's going to get hit back.
Down goes Whitaker for the 2nd time in the fight.
4, 5,
The second true knockdown of the fight. It comes in the 6th round. There was one in the 1st. And Pernell Whitaker is burying himself on the scorecard so far.
And again, it's because of the way he's coming into Hurtado, flat, head down, in an awkward stance.
He's following a puncher around. You don't want to follow a puncher unless you are running at him almost.
Somewhere at ringside, Oscar De La Hoya can feel the millions draining away. And you're reminded of some of the great missed opportunities in the history of the sport. Most recent one, of course, Tommy Morrison had a signed contract for $7.5 million to fight Lennox Lewis. Took a tune-up fight against Michael Bent. Got knocked out in the first round. Want a better one? Mike Tyson had a $20 million agreement to fight Evander Holyfield when he went to Tokyo to take on a fellow named Buster Douglas. So it's happened before.
Step back.
You spend a whole career trying to be an excellent boxer. You don't want to end it trying to be a slugger, and that's what Whitaker's doing now.
Whitaker lands a big left hand as the round comes to a close, but Hurtado walks back to his corner with his hand in the air.
Move it. All right, you got to snap the jab. Score points with your jab. When they get close, fake at the guy, then let the punches go. Okay?
You got to
the guy
step
swinging
over.
wild shots at you. He's just swinging punching. He don't know what he's doing. He's just swinging punching.
There you saw that. Now that was a clean knockdown, a much cleaner knockdown I felt than in the first round. That one stung a little bit. And that was a definite 2-point knockdown in the 6th round. So 2 knockdowns of the welterweight champion of the world in the first 6 rounds.
By relatively unknown Cuban Diobelys Hurtado, with Whitaker trying to earn his way toward a multi-million-dollar payday against Oscar De La Hoya in April. And an ashen-faced De La Hoya moves in to join us at ringside right now. Oscar De La Hoya with a headset on now and a microphone in front of him. Let's open that mic up, guys, because this is some drama. And Oscar, how's your heart doing?
Well, I'm still crossing my fingers. I'm kind of shaking now, but I think Whitaker will do well. He's having trouble with him, but he'll come on in the later rounds. Whitaker is always a game fighter. He's always prepared, but
now I thought that punch hurt Whitaker more than any punch that's hit him so far, even though he didn't go down.
Well, and he's smiling and shaking it off, which sometimes indicate that a guy really has been hurt. Technically and stylistically, Oscar, what can Pernell do to reverse the tide against this guy who is so unusual in his style?
Whitaker has to use more jabs. He's not using his jab whatsoever. And I feel that if Whitaker uses his jabs more, he can lead with those right hands afterwards. He's just coming straight in with the right hands. If he comes in, moving his head, moving his waist with the jabs, he will do well against him.
Well, meanwhile, another point deduction from Hurtado for holding behind the head. So the points he's gained with the knockdowns, he has lost to foul deductions. Halfway through round 7. And Oscar, we've been saying the same thing. Why doesn't Pernell throw more jabs and try to get a rhythm going with the jab?
Well, sometimes what happens is when you think you have an easy opponent, you tend not to train as hard. And I feel that Whitaker really didn't train as hard for this guy. He thought he had an easy fight, but as we know, he's having a tough time with this guy.
And also, he's fighting a guy who is supremely awkward and yet has a certain kind of quickness and movement that makes it difficult to fight him.
Well, he does have a tough opponent against him, but I feel if Whitaker was at 100% and sticking that jab, he would have had an easier time with this guy.
Whitaker trying right hooks off the front foot now. Still coming in with the straight left. Hurtado beginning to tire a little bit as round 7 progresses, and he's still blinking his eyes, George, although he's having trouble seeing in there.
Whitaker's got him hurt now, but has he enough to finish him off? That's hard to do when you've been a puncher for the whole fight. You've got to finish him off while you got him hurt.
Pernell landed a hard right hand, closing seconds of the 7th. Hurtado will be happy to go to his corner this time.
behind in the damn fight, all right? Look, you can't go out here and bullshit with this guy. You just had this fucking guy hurt, all right? Keep leading off with the hook and finally behind with your left hand, all right? The guy is hurt. Keep your hands high, all right? Now don't bullshit with this guy no more. Get out there, snap your punches. You gotta snap your punches, all right? This fucking guy's hurt now.
Every time you punch a guy, he quits on you, quits on you.
This guy,
Está haciendo mucha mierda ahí. Haciendo mucha mierda ahí.
Respira conmigo. Vamos, respira conmigo. Vamos.
Don't get desperate. Stop him. Don't get desperate.
Bloquea y contraataca con tu derecha.
Hey, keep that counter attack with that right hand. Don't fall asleep.
Vamos ya.
Don't play any tricks with this guy.
Now we're going to see if this young fighter with just 20 professional fights has the poise to deal with this weird fight in which points are being deducted and he's knocking down the champion and stuff is happening that's probably never happened in his entire career.
But all of a sudden, Hurtado looks very shaky on his feet, as though he has suddenly been overcome by fatigue and is worried about his ability to finish the fight. He's trying to stay away from Whitaker as the 8th begins.
He's had some problem with that left eye all night. Whitaker still not able to land his jab, but the secret here tonight is Hurtado's got the advantage with the reach. Whitaker thinks he's out of the way and he gets hit.
Whitaker with a hard left hand to the body.
That hurt.
And Ronnie Shields has been begging Pernell to go back to the body. Lou Duba's mentioned it too. I think he's done his most damage on those occasions when he's concentrated downstairs.
Given how unorthodox that Hurtado is, Oscar, is anything that happens in this fight relevant to your fight with Whitaker if it happens?
Well, we have totally different styles, and I mean, of course, we're going to pick up different things from what Hurtado is doing because it is being effective on this fight. But of course, I mean, we're two totally different fighters, two totally different human beings, and but Hurtado's giving them trouble, and I feel that from each fighter that Whitaker has fought, we can pick up a different move and pick up different combinations that Whitaker's opponents have been, giving them trouble with. So.
Well, of course, one huge difference as Whitaker goes down to the canvas again, and this is the 3rd slip for Whitaker. He's actually been on the canvas 5 times tonight. 2 knockdowns, 3 slips. But Pernell is having to chase Hurtado all over the ring, and you're probably the one who's going to have to chase if you face him in April.
Well, actually, it's going to be a very tough fight if Whitaker does win. And one point I want to bring out is that slip that Whitaker had just right now. I truly feel that Whitaker didn't train for this fight, because a slip like that, you don't just slip down and go down by somebody shoving you. You go down if you don't have legs, if you didn't train, and that's what Whitaker's doing now. He just didn't train for this guy because he thought it was going to be an easy fight.
Foreman nodding his head vigorously at that comment.
But, I pointed out earlier, if you remember,
goes Hurtado, and this will be called a slip.
That Pernell had some difficulty making the weight. Who knows what it indicates? Oscar is saying maybe it indicates that he wasn't in top shape. But the other thing here is Pernell is not used to being the aggressor, so that he's getting himself into awkward positions where he can be knocked down.
Well, he's in a totally different situation because Whitaker's a fighter who always tends to go back and wait for you to make mistakes and throw punches. What he's doing is he's being the aggressor, which he's not used to being.
He did a great job of it in that round, though. And Hurtado continues to look a little shaky.
That's the way you fight the guy.
That's the body.
Stay on top. You don't let this motherfucker breathe. You hear me? You get on top of this motherfucker and just keep punching. Come on. Now, I know you are. Right now. I want you to go to the body with this guy. You got to go to the body with this guy. Keep going to the body. You understand? Now look, this guy ain't got nothing left. He fighting on heart up alone, all right? You're fighting on experience, all right? You're fighting on experience. You're not fighting on heart, okay?
Here you see a series of some of the stuff that's going on between this fighter who George calls a glorified amateur, and I think correctly. So this is not like anything that Whitaker has seen probably for 15 years, since he himself was a great amateur.
In the last 2 rounds, Hurtado's punch count has spiraled downward dramatically. Only 35 punches thrown in that last round, only 7 landed. Pete, on the other hand, stepping the pace up. He landed 21 punches in that round, many of them power shots.
Whitaker's got to get closer and stay close. He's getting in trouble whenever he gets on the end of those shots. Once he's close, it's an easy fight for him.
And you thought he deserved credit for a knockdown in the last round.
Oh, yeah.
He ruled a slip.
He got a knockdown. He wasn't given credit for it. But he's got to stay close to this kid. He can't stay on the outside. This kid's got a good reach, and he's quick.
As Whitaker reaches down to acknowledge what he thought was another low blow, Andrew Galata is sitting at ringside. Just a coincidence.
Whitaker's too late now to start working on the jab. You got to get close to this kid and don't allow him to get anything going. The last time he reached out to shake hands, this kid hit him.
Right. So this time Pernell didn't reach back out.
No, you got to stop that.
Now that was a pro move. Maybe the only one we've seen him use tonight.
Come on, keep it clean. You're doing fine. Keep it clean.
Whitaker's making a bad mistake standing on the outside trying to match jabs and things of that nature. Get close and stay close.
Whatever happens in this fight, it's clear now that this is a terrible match for Pernell Whitaker. Because even if you win, you can't look good against a fighter of this kind.
Whitaker has an easy time throwing that right hook. I don't know why he's stopping. There you go.
There it was. And Hurtado completely turns his back, and Whitaker decides to keep going after him, and now Mercanti deducts a point from Whitaker. So he's deducted 2 from Hurtado. He's deducted 1 from Whitaker. He's called a slip on what George Foreman thought ought to have been a knockdown credited to Whitaker. He's called 3 slips when Whitaker's been to the canvas, and Whitaker has twice been knocked down. It has been a bizarre and action-filled evening in Atlantic City.
Keep it clean now.
And it's nervous time now as Oscar De La Hoya watches at ringside and considers how to replace the millions of dollars that will go away if Pernell Whitaker loses to Diobelys Hurtado. Straight left hand by Whitaker. Now Pernell holds Hurtado behind the right hand, or behind the head with the right hand, and gets away with it before Mercanti breaks him.
No doubt about whenever Whitaker decides to throw that right hook, he connects every time. And once he moves for the straight left, that's the trouble.
Break! Break! Stop holding now.
He's not going to do a lot of damage out here in the center of the ring. The way Hurtado's fighting, he's going to have to pin him against the ropes in these closing rounds.
Come on, let's get that second win now. This fight is ours. He can't punch. We're going to box now. Teach him how to box. You show him how the Cuban box work. We're going to show him. We're going to show him. We're going to show him.
Now let's see about the point that was taken away. I don't know, that's another, just as I didn't think that Whitaker earned a point that was taken away from Hurtado earlier, I don't think a point should have been taken away from him now. It was accidental, it wasn't hard, and it was Hurtado who turned his back on Whitaker.
And Harold, how do you have it scored through 9?
Larry, with all these points being taken away, I got it even. 83-83, 4-4-1 even. I got it all even to this point. But let me tell you something. If you turn away, the other guy has no right to hit you in the back of the head or the kidneys. You can kill a guy like that, Larry. You can't do it. You can't whack him in the brainstem. It's illegal.
I receive your point, Harold. I have Whitaker ahead 6 rounds to 2 with 1 even, which shows how weird I am about this fight. Good punch.
Hard right hand by Hurtado as Whitaker left himself wide open as he throws haymaker punches to try to put Hurtado in trouble.
Every time that Whitaker thinks this guy's on the verge of fainting, he throws something and hits him up. Good right hand.
He is one unusual customer in there.
And that's giving him the best of it.
Whitaker was able to land a good straight left hand right to the middle of the face that time.
Yep. Right off the nose of Hurtado.
But if he's intending to knock him out, he's probably waited spending a lot of energy too late to
Well, the late knockout is not a Pernell Whitaker specialty, that's for sure. So if he's going to be staring at going to the scorecards, and despite the generosity of Larry's scoring, I suspect that Pernell would be well advised to win these last 3 rounds. I think Oscar will feel a lot better if Pernell wins these last 3 rounds. He tries to make it abundantly clear on the scorecards.
Well, Jim, I'm crossing my fingers. Now I'm going into crossing my toe fingers. So I'm hoping Whitaker just keeps on throwing punches, wins the rounds, and we can get it on in April.
The thing about going into training with these guys, sometimes you physically can do it, but psychologically you got to be afraid of them to train properly too. Good body punch by Hurtado.
You know, Hurtado as a boy walked 16 miles to and from a gym to become a fighter. He later got a master's degree in phys ed at Havana University, so he probably can fight like this all night and all weekend.
Whitaker, whenever you pull him, his legs give out on him. He's having a rough time making his legs obey.
Now timeout to restore the tape on Pernell Whitaker's glove. We're in round 10.
Time in.
Whitaker makes the mistakes of throwing 1-2s rather than 1-2-3, and that's when the trouble starts.
How do you throw 1-2-3s against this guy, George?
You just got to do it. You don't wait to hit him. Just throw them.
It's like trying to hit a snake.
Yeah, but just throw them. If you can hit him with 1, you can hit him with 3. That hurt.
Right hand lead by Hurtado. He has damaged Whitaker several times with quick right hands. Hurtado with some swelling around his left eye as the 10th comes to a close.
You need to knock out to win the fight. No. You got to get on top of this guy. No. You got to go both hands with this guy. You can't just go one hand with this guy. No.
You need a knockout.
You need a knockout to win the fight, all right? So look, you got to, everything you got now, you just got to go out and get these last 2 rounds. You got to put the pressure on this kid, all right? You got to show this kid who's boss. You just get in there and just let your hands go.
¿Viste? A su hay un gancho. A su hay un gancho.
Use that hook. Use that hook.
Cógele la boquita con la toalla. Cógele la boca. Cógele la boca con la toalla.
Dry his mouth.
Abre la toalla.
Open the towel. Jab, jab, jab. And come down with the right hand.
Very interesting, George. Lou Duva and Ronnie Shields, regarded by many as one of the best corners in the sport, telling Pernell Whitaker that he needs a knockout to win.
Believe me, it's a little closer than that.
That's the judgment they've decided to pass on to their fighter. Whether he's going to listen to them remains to be seen. Certainly Ronnie Shields wants what George Foreman has been suggesting Whitaker should do, which is to flurry and throw more punches in bunches.
See, you get close and just let 3 or 4 go. You don't worry about if they're going to connect or not. Sometimes you...
In his 41-fight career, Pernell Whitaker has never had a knockout beyond the 6th round. Never. So in all likelihood, this baby's going to the scorecards. And it doesn't promise to get any prettier or more fluid in the last couple of rounds.
Good right hand by...
Chopping right over the top by Hurtado. That's right.
Hurtado is really having a fields day here, and he didn't expect it. Good body punch.
Yeah, left to the body by Whitaker. Hurtado stops throwing. Whitaker keeps going to the body. Hurtado holding Whitaker's head between his gloves.
He's a young fighter. He's going to pay him back for that.
And he lands a left hand over the top, although softly.
Whitaker gets close, doesn't do anything.
One thing I've been observing throughout the whole fight is that Hurtado's beating Whitaker to his game.
Oh, what a left hand by Whitaker! And he takes advantage with 4 more straight lefts. Arthur McCanny watching. And it's over. It is over. Pernell Whitaker rescues himself dramatically. And Oscar De La Hoya lights into a smile as big as
That's what boxing is all about.
And that's what champions do.
And that's what multi-million-dollar paydays are built on. Well, I just told you about 20 seconds before that Pernell Whitaker never in his whole career had a knockout past the 6th round. But then again, he never fought in a fight like this one, George.
A new day is here. Evidently, he needs that payday more than you think, Oscar De La Hoya.
One thing about...
wants it more.
One thing about what happened there, you know, we've often said in the past that Whitaker has trouble finishing when he gets guys in trouble. He finished this time, that's for sure.
And that guy got himself twisted up into the rope. He's fighting a gifted amateur with great legs, youth, hunger, but an amateur nonetheless.
He'll never be able to fight a fight or with someone again like that. This guy was quicker than any fighter he's ever going to get in the ring with.
You know, as Hurtado got hung up in the ropes there, I thought for a moment about a Cuban star of the 1950s and early 60s named Benny Kid Pernell, who got himself hung up in the ropes one night at Madison Square Garden and wound up dying in a New York hospital. I think if he had it to do over again, Arthur McCanty might have stopped this 1 or 2 punches short of where he finally did so.
I agree with you, Jim. He was helpless there on the ropes. He couldn't escape, and he wasn't returning any fire.
Stopping right there would have been okay. That's okay. That would have done. That would have been nice. I think Arthur would like to have that one back. Just a couple punches short of there.
Be that as it may,
you can't expect Whitaker to back up now, knowing that he's been behind all night, trying to finish it.
No, Whitaker's just doing his job. He did exactly what he had to do under those circumstances.
Well, like George Foreman and Joe Frazier.
Nobody ever followed a corner's instructions better.
That's for sure.
They told him he had to go out and knock the guy out.
And he did it.
And he went out and did
it. No, James Toney against Tim Littles followed instructions in exactly the same way.
I said better. And I've just gotten word through our communication system that Oscar De La Hoya will open on that fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
2-1
here at Caesars Atlantic City, the end comes at 1 minute, 52 seconds of round 11. The winner and still WBC welterweight champion of the world, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
And here, Harold Letterman and George Foreman are the numbers that underline the significance of what Pernell Whitaker just did. I'm holding the 3 official scorecards, on which going into the 11th round, Diobelys Hurtado was leading Pernell Whitaker 94-92, 96-91, and 93-92. In other words, Hurtado was headed toward a possible unanimous decision. Final punch stat numbers, and you can see that Whitaker stepped up the pressure in the closing rounds and wound up landing and throwing more than Diobelys Hurtado. But if Whitaker goes out against Oscar De La Hoya and throws only 440 punches in 10+ rounds, he is expected to be in trouble. George Foreman, I know that from a style standpoint, Whitaker De La Hoya is going to look a lot different than this, but does this showing by Pernell tonight diminish, in your view, his chances against a fighter like De La Hoya?
As a matter of fact, it improves in my mind.
Really? Why is that?
Because not only is he able to take a good shot, get up, and not lose his concentration anymore, he can chase in the latter round. I didn't know that Whitaker was able to do that.
Quickly, let's go to Larry in the ring.
All right, thank you very much. Pernell, congratulations. And what were you just saying? It isn't over till when?
It's not over till we say it's over.
That's right. Your corner told you had to go out and knock him out. Did you believe that yourself?
Well, I believe in what my corner tell me. So, you know, regardless, I wasn't looking for it. You know, I just knew it was going to happen. It was late in the round.
Could you see that that he was getting progressively more tired as the fight went along?
Well, you know, it turned into a whining situation. I just knew I just had to keep the pressure on him. And with the punches that he was throwing, they really wasn't bothering me, but, you know, I just knew it was a matter of time that I reached him.
Why were you knocked down? Was it simply being off balance? Were you fighting a fight that you're not used to fighting, having to chase a guy like that off all over the ring?
Mostly I was off balance a couple times, and I can't take anything away from my opponent. He came in with a world championship heart. He wanted the title, and he gave me my money's worth for a little while.
How ugly of a fight was that? Have you ever been in anything like that as a professional?
Well, you know, I wouldn't say no. I just can't remember so far back. But I'd like to thank the fans around the world for the support. I'd like to thank the favorite network, HBO, for, I understand that this was my 17th or 18th title fight. And,
17, but we're not counting.
Okay, well, you know, it's been a great relationship between myself and HBO, and it's not over till I say it's over.
Talk to us now about Oscar De La Hoya. Does this fight have any reference at all to fighting a more classic professional fighter like Oscar De La Hoya?
I don't think Oscar De La Hoya is no better than Hurtado. Matter of fact, I think they pretty much similar. But if the student doesn't bring the teacher an apple, I must punish him. But like I always said, Larry, he's the boy wonder, but I'm Batman.
All right, here's Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar, give us your thoughts now that it's clear that you two are going to meet. Give us your thoughts about the fight.
Well, first of all, about the fight, I want to congratulate Sweet Pea Whitaker for another great performance. He just showed the boxing fan that that's what a true champion is all about. You know, he of course, I mean, we have to admit he was having a bit difficulty in this fight, which we all didn't expect. But a great champion always comes back, wins a fight impressively, and that's what he did tonight. And I feel that April 12th is going to be a good show. People are going to get their money's worth. Once again, I'll be in the best shape of my life. He'll be in the best shape of his life, and the best man is going to win.
Were you in the best shape of your life for this fight, or was it simply how awkward and fast your opponent was?
Well, this was one of my finest training camps I've had. You know, it wasn't particular the fight.
So you don't want to blame it on
no,
taking this guy lightly?
I want to finish first.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I want to say
you finished the show.
I didn't look past Hurtado. You know, I knew there was something bigger and better beyond him, so I had to go through him. I couldn't go over or around the opponent. I had to go through him to get to Oscar. Oscar deserves the title shot, but I'm still the champion, and April 12th, we'll see who's the best competitor.
The fact that you say you got in top shape,
I'm always in top shape.
Because you wanted to fight Oscar, did that help you come through in the championship rounds, the end of the fight?
No, not at all. I give Oscar a lot of credit.
No, I'm talking about tonight.
Oh, my opponent. See, I don't want to take it. See, y'all brought in Oscar. I don't want to take anything away from my opponent. He fought a terrific fight. He was a champion. I mean, he gave me all I could handle for 11 rounds.
All right, thank you very much, Pernell. You went out like a champ, and we're going back to Jim and George.
Be there on the 12th. One thing about Pernell, he's never had a moment of trouble in the ring, regardless of whether he's been down or anything like that. In his view, he wins just about every round. That kind of confidence will serve him well going into the De La Hoya bout.
In my mind, he was whipped from pillar to post tonight. He ended up retrieving and winning this thing by knockout. If it had gone to the judges, I can't see him being the winner tonight.
But you know, Sweet Pea, if we took those 3 judges' scorecards up there and showed him that he was trailing on all 3 cards, he would probably contend that we fabricated him, right?
No doubt about it, because this guy's got a lot more heart than I thought. Whitaker has got more heart probably than any fight in the ring today.
He'll need more than heart, as great as he is, to beat Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah, I think he has a little more than heart too now.
George, thanks very much. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Larry, very quickly, final comments. We've got to move right along and get on to the Dennis Miller Live show coming up, but there's room here for you to say one thing. Well,
what I would say is if that Hurtado would have won this fight, it would have been as if Sir Isaac Newton saw an apple fall up from that tree. But the apple did fall down, and it came down on him from Pernell Whitaker.
And that's why Whitaker says if the student won't bring the teacher the apple, then the teacher will have to punish him. I'll have a final word on what happened in boxing here tonight in Atlantic City in just a moment. Right now, let's look ahead to some upcoming programming right here on HBO. World Championship Boxing returns February 7 with the long-awaited rematch between Oliver McCall and Lennox Lewis. You may recall Lewis was apparently headed toward a meeting with Riddick Bowe when he was shockingly derailed by Oliver McCall's one-punch knockout in September 1990.